Hello, everybody. Glad to see y'all. This is Marilyn LeMay Patterson, and I'm going to start out by publicly apologizing to her for I messed up our dates, and she was very surprised to find out she was judging tonight and not next week. So Marilyn, I am super sorry that I blew that off. My bad. She has a wonderful background to share with you. She has been shooting in the world's cultures and its environments, and does world impressions photography, where she conducted photographic shows with speaking engagements with audiences interested in a particular culture or environment. The evening presentations included a discussion of her work and experiences, as well as culture-specific culinary dishes. She has a background in watercolor, oil, acrylic, and acrylic painting, big old long list of professional associations and education. Very impressive looking website, girl. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us. I also believe you're the one that was giving me names to call, right? Were you the one?
Oh, no, that's another gal. She's the head of the Maryland Photography Judges group, and so she's the head contact person.
Okay.
I'm just a judge.
Well, you are a little bit more than just, but that's cool. You can, especially since you have a whole state named after you. I mean, that's really impressive.
Right.
Just saying. You go ahead and get started. I'm going to mute myself. Thank you for your understanding and patience with me.
Okay, Marilyn, it's on you.
It's on me. Okay, yes. So tonight we have a hands competition, and in that competition I relied a lot on creativity and my visceral experience with the image. And so I guess we'll start.
Okay, let's start with that. Hold on. All right, how it works, Marilyn, is I'll read the image and then you can just give a commentary. We do them for all the non-placers first, and then we do honorable mentions third through first. Okay. As I said, the first one is hands. First up is Jay by Kim Koza.
Okay, this meets the competition criteria, but I'm not connecting with this image. Actually, I'm looking at the other elements, not his hands, but for instance, the gun tie and the unique wedding ring. And another glint that comes to mind is his watch band. These are distracting elements for me and take away from his hand holding. So for those reasons, I omit this particular image.
Okay, next up is Card Shark, Rich Schreibstein.
Card Shark, yes. I love this image. I can't stop looking at the child's eyes. To me, they mimic the spade that's on the 9 card. And I think that's intriguing. However, I have some concerns about the background. The white circles, dots, lights, whatever they are, actually needs to be toned down, I believe. And according to my screen, the child's hands are not super sharp, they're soft. And for those reasons, I have to omit this image.
Okay, next up is Tomato Duet, Rich Schreibstein.
A lovely, lovely, caring image of a portrait of hands and produce. Lovely tones, in that subject. But again, the background is distracting to me. Perhaps a vignette on the upper right, upper left and lower right to give a focus on this beautiful tonal image in the middle. So for those reasons, I have to admit it.
I forgot to mention there were 19 images, 3 places, 3 honorable mentions. So, okay, next up is Pumping Iron, Joe Catronio.
Another very engaging image. The tonal values in the hand, I can feel the pressure of those fingers around the weight. And the colors are fantastic. Unfortunately, I have another image that that is very evocative, and so I'm going to cut this out.
Okay, next up is A Warm Drink, Paul O'Keefe.
All right, so this is very interesting. According to the competition rules, hands have to be the predominant feature. And I believe in this image, actually the cup and the froth and the cinnamon stick are the predominant feature. That's the predominant subject. So while I do see the hand there, I have to omit it because I don't believe it fits the criteria.
Okay, next up is Baby Girl, Kim Koza.
Baby Girl is a loving photograph of, and it could be a doll or it could be a real baby doll. I am torn between the curvature of her hands clasped together and the lower portion of her magnificent face. So I go back and forth and back and forth. And typically when you have an image of a human being, the first place you go is their face. And so since this competition requires hands being predominant, I have to eliminate this image.
Okay, next up is Candlelight, Paul O'Keefe.
So again here, it's a wonderfully exposed candle with light, but it does not, actually I love the glowing effect on the person's thumb, and whatever light is being transferred to the background. Very intriguing. There's a story here, but I don't feel the hands are predominant, so I have to exclude this.
Okay, next is Case in Hands, Marguerite Hill.
Okay, so this is a very nice triangular composition. Actually, I believe the hands surround the subject of this image. The case in point has complementary colors and is quite in style and in vogue. And the upper hand points to the lower hand's thumb, which keeps you into the subject. But I don't believe the subject is the hands. I believe the subject is the case itself or the pocketbook. So I have to omit this image.
Okay, next up is Still Remember Koufax, Bertrand Scheibstein.
Yes, so a very interesting photograph and a lot of potential here. But I just want to take a moment to have you perhaps close your eyes and turn the image upside down, then open your eyes and find out what happens. Your eye will automatically go to the lightest area of the image, and that is the ball in this case. And while I'm understanding the concept of this image, I feel like it could have been portrayed in a way that the hand held more importance than the ball. And also the background is very interesting in that I'm not sure if these lines are because that's perhaps a pattern of flight the ball is taking, or a planned exercise that the baseball person is planning. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't think the hand is portrayed well enough, and so I'll have to omit this image.
Okay, next is All They Need Is Love, Elena Kesey.
Yes, all they need is love. I'd like to try whatever it is she's making, but I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with all of the extraneous information that's in this image. The hands are important, but I'm distracted by her watch, the white sleeves, the colorful background on the upper right-hand side. And so I would suggest a crop to crop out all that area, which will bring our attention right into the hands. So for those reasons, I'll have to omit this image.
Okay, next is Reflections, Larry Hill.
This is a wonderful, potentially great image. I'm enthralled with the muted colors and how well they highlight the book that she's reading. I don't know if it's a Bible or what, but even though the colors are muted, they are also distracting. The letter on the lower right, lower left is distracting, and I'm not sure if that's a pencil sharpener next to her right hand. That's also distracting. I feel that a good crop would eliminate these distracting elements. The red sleeves highlight the book, and also I might suggest opening her right hand up, saying maybe she's reading line by line, so we see more of the hand. The left hand is absolutely wonderful, wonderful. So for those reasons, I'd have to omit this image.
Okay, next up is Peace or Deuce, Sean Sullivan.
Okay.
We lost you there, Marilyn. Marilyn? We cannot hear you.
Love. And it's a beautifully toned hand, gloved hand in jacket. The only comment I have is that I'm distracted by the lower left. I don't know if it's a triangle or a light source or whatever it is, but if that were removed, the focus would be right on that hand, and I think it would be a more successful image. So I'll have to omit this image.
Okay, next up is Dear Santa, Sean Sullivan.
Okay, dear Santa. So I would say the same thing here that I said with our pal with the baseball, is that your eye goes to the lightest thing in the image, and it's right on Dear Santa. And the purpose of the signed competition are hands. And I believe a different perspective, another view, say, of the chubby fingers holding onto the pen and seeing the pen point hit the paper might convey this message that the maker wants to send in a more effective manner. So I'm going to have to omit this image.
Okay, and our honorable mentions. First up, Magical Fingers, Joe Catronio. Musical Fingers, I'm sorry.
I've just been enthralled with this image since I first saw it. crisp colors. The light is terrific. It hits his forearm, and yet you have a darker value on his fingers, upper hand, and hits his lower hand, and then you have a different value on his fingers, his knuckles, and off into his arms. It's a framed centerpiece. It's creative, it's unique. As I mentioned, the lighting is terrific, and so that's why I chose it for honorable mention.
Okay, our next honorable mention. Tough question, Bertrand Stripestein.
So for me, as I mentioned before, viscerally, I'm affected by black and white images, all images, but this is a powerful image, and it has great movement in it, as subtle as it is. If you're from an Eastern culture, you tend to read from right to left. And so your eye would enter up the hand, down these very subtle blonde hair or light, brilliant light hairs. And then right across the bridge of her nose is that subtle but poignant and necessary white line that goes right into oblivion, and then back up into her hand again. If you are a Western viewer, you would come in through that minuscule white line into oblivion, right into her hand, back down to her wrist, and then right through it again. I just find this image contemplative and beyond description, and certainly relevant to the time.
Oh,
So this image that's why it was mentioned.
I'm sorry, I skipped the honorable mentions altogether, went right to the winners. This was second place. Musical Hands was third place. I'm gonna go back to the honorable mentions, and then we'll do the first place winner. My apology. I scrolled across too fast. Honorable mention. There's an apple for that. Lena Kesey.
I think that's I think that's first place.
You sure?
Yeah, that's first place.
Hold on, let me double check your email. I might be my fault. Oh, yes. My fault. All right. So I wasn't wrong. This was honorable mention.
Yeah,
This was honorable mention.
and tough questions.
And this is honorable.
Okay,
this is-
time flies.
Linda Thomasula.
Yes. This image conveys an extremely original concept in tonight's theme. Beyond the image, the maker's message is that time flies. Without the name, you might not automatically connect the animal element with the inanimate element. but I was lucky enough to have the name of the image, and it's just wonderful. The juxtaposition of the inanimate and the living, the curvilineature of the clock itself and the filigree inside, along with the linear lines leading right up to the winged creatures. It's it's worthy of honorable mention and more. The texture is tack on, right on, and the overall clarity is just superb. So congratulations, Linda.
Okay, sorry for messing up the ordering, everybody. This was third place.
This
Four
is third,
Generations in Remembrance of Papa, Jenna Kaywood.
right. This is third place, and what drew me to the image was the spectacular effort on the maker to portray the different textures of each of the hands involved. Religious objects often cause individuals to have multiple associations. So this image, even though it's personal to these four generations, has a wider value now because of this religious object.
Okay, second place is The Pole, Linda Tomasulo.
This is a very strong image demonstrating movement, texture, and subtle values. It's well placed in the frame, and the background leading lines help you integrate into the spinning wheel, and you go round and round through the image. It's really well done.
And of course, as we all know, first place is Helena Kesey. There's an apple for that.
Yes, this is another very strong triangular composition filled with color and line, very creative, superb lighting. The lines and the shapes and the values are all there. Congratulations, it's spectacular.
Congratulations to our winners and placeholders. I'm going to stop sharing for a second so I can make sure that the next one is in the right order. I was rushing this afternoon to get them in, so. Yeah, they are not. Okay. Hold on one second.
Were there any double winners in the sticks?
No, there's usually never doubles. All right. All right, we're good to go. All right. The sign two is TP.
TP.
Yep.
The most unusual competition I've ever shared.
Yeah, I would say it would be.
It was a pleasure, actually, lighthearted and highly creative. And those were the two highest qualifications for my picks.
The we have 18 entries, 3 places, 3 honorable mentions. First up is Nod to Olivia Parker, Carol Bell.
Yes, this is an appealing abstract where the camera has either been moved to create the blur, or perhaps toilet paper has been thrown in the air in front of a background. I'm not sure which. Compositionally, this has volume and texture and movement. I have two comments to make. I would like to see either more white or more color. This would eliminate the almost half and half quality of the image. I'd also suggest cropping out this line on the left side of the image. I'm not sure it helps it any. So this image is out.
Okay. Next up is Soft by Carol Bell.
This is another interesting abstract, and I'm feeling that I'm not necessarily connecting with it. I feel like it needs additional midtones and some darks. I'm missing the paper quality of toilet paper, so I'll have to omit this painting. Omit this image.
Okay, and our next image is TP Detail, Kim Koza.
Yes. So this is a pleasing curvilineature. It has great texture, but we don't have the darkest darks, and we don't have enough midtones to really pull this off. So I'm hoping that the tonal values for black and white can be amped up a bit. So this image is out.
Okay, next up is Bathroom Bouquet, Joe Catronio.
Okay, so this is an interesting image because first of all, I like the vignetting, but
You're cutting out there, Marilyn. Marilyn?
I lost you and I was muted. So, okay, I'm back again, I think. Am I here?
You are here.
Okay. So this is an interesting image in that I enjoy the vignetting, and I wanted to say that I feel like it needs another element. Odd numbers are more effective and in capturing the viewer and continuing the viewer's eye through the image than even numbers. So if this had 3 elements, maybe 2 paper rolls and the flower, it would encourage a sweeping motion. And it's almost a triangular centerpiece. But for that reason, you should consider odd numbers in the future. And for that reason, it's out.
Okay, next up is TP Fan, Kim Koza.
So this was very close to my heart. I really enjoyed the feeling that went into making this. My only criticism is that it needs more tonal variation. for a black and white. I know it's subtle, but I'm wanting to see more, more depth in the crease.
Okay. Next up is Purple Face, Marguerite Hill.
Well, I think whoever made this had one heck of a time painting that toilet paper roll purple and then mushing down the inner tube to make this wonderful nose. And the black visqueen, it's all well done, and certainly the eyes have it. But I didn't accept it for an award. So I'm sorry it's out.
Okay, our next up is Here Comes the Judge, Sharon Silversmith.
Okay, Judge. I'm feeling that, first of all, I love the hat. The hat's terrific. I wanted to see more of the creative processes that was used to make this hat, maybe on his neck. And the might be a crab cracker. I'm not quite sure what the instrument is, but that's a wonderful element. I think the whole image needs to be vignette a bit. The bottom is, I think the top is, it would bring him forward. Funny, creative, but I didn't accept it.
Okay, next is The Toilet Papers, Rich Schreibstein.
Well, this has a lot going for it, especially the tonal values in the black and white segments, the lines and the designs and the squares and the curvilinear objects. They're just wonderful. But I feel I wanted more. I wanted more papers all over the floor. I want them hanging out of the sink. I want them underneath the toilet lid. I think he's onto something. Just I want more. So I didn't include it.
Okay, next up is Toilet Paper number 1, Stephen. So now you're going to try to pronounce Stephen's last name. I know I'll butcher it.
This image is interesting because it has many shapes and values. For some reason on my screen, I didn't see this hourglass shape here over on the right. That's very nice. Repeat it again down at the bottom here. What I liked about this image was that you have these amazing textures on the lower left and then right above it as the light bounces off it. But then when you go into the tube and you see the light there, it's totally different than anywhere else. I feel that perhaps it's a bit heavy on the right-hand side, and so perhaps a square crop from the left might help balance out the piece. So that's why I did not include it.
Okay, next up is Toilet Paper number 2 by Stephen.
Toilet paper number 2. I just couldn't connect with this. I felt that the depth of field was too blurred. The soft blur here on the right side, okay, but I don't have enough subject matter to work with here. Very little tonal value separations, so I did not include it.
Okay, next up is I Am Always Watching, Sean Sullivan.
This image frightens me to no end. I'm not really connecting with it. The eyes are I don't know where he got these eyes, but I'd be concerned. Um,
It's a homage to our Thanksgiving.
okay. Maybe some tonal value changes from your top white to the back white might help a bit. I'm sorry, Sean, I didn't include it.
That's fine. Next up is TP Pyramid Scheme, Sean Sullivan.
Yes, I really liked this image. I especially like the tonal values on the toilet paper rolls, and it's sort of a bronzy sepia look, and it works well with the background. Um, it's a successful triangular composition, but to me, it looks like an advertisement for toilet paper rolls, as opposed to using rolls in a unique way. So that's why I didn't include it.
Honorable mentions, and I think I got them right this time, is low calorie, high fiber, Elena Keesey.
Okay, so I want to eat that cake. No. I know it's a toilet paper roll, but it sure looks good. And Elena, your skill at fashioning the decorative elements is remarkable. Um, so again, we have a triangular center concept here. We have tonal values here, and the light is just right. So that's why I chose.
Okay, our next honorable mention, COVID rescue dog, Linda Tomasulo.
Yes,
And Linda,
so
you stole my idea.
so his eyes are right on target. Those teeth are magnificent. And the fact that he can carry a toilet paper roll around with him is remarkable. I'd like to have seen darker shades in his shadow, but it's okay. I just have one question for the maker. What I'm wondering is what happens when the pup is occupied and you need the paper?
Next honorable mention, the history of TP, Cliff Notes version, Rich Schreibstein.
Yes, boy, have we progressed as a as a toilet paper user. Great originality, and the composition is wonderful. The light on the subject matter is great, and it leaves this tube darkened. It's almost as if it was, I don't know if he planned this, but it's as if it's a punctuation mark or a period to the end of this current history. Tonal values are great. I love the sepia and the beige background. So well done.
Okay, our winners in third place. The rest is still unwritten, Elena Keesey.
I love the tonal values in this image. The background is just phenomenal. Typically, I don't care for a lot of writing, but because this particular competition is so unique, I did enjoy her suggestion here. And I see that now we have also, besides all the writing and the mathematics and the tonal abilities here, we have a human element with a pen ready to continue. So the story goes on, and it's still unwritten. So I thought it was a perfect choice.
Okay, in second place, Toilet Paper Man, Joe Catronio.
Well, um, This is a very strong composition, and it certainly tells a story. It's the perfect advertisement for a toilet paper supply company, which perhaps the maker should get involved in. I've never seen that large of a toilet paper roll, so he was quite quite creative in that regard. Great lighting, colors wonderful. Your eye is all over the image, and so that's why I chose it for second.
Okay, in first place, TP Flower Abstract, Linda Tomasulo.
So I really, when I first saw this image, I just passed by it, and I was wondering why would they put a flower image in it. And then I went back through the second suite, and I said, "What?" And I looked closer and closer. Amazing post-processing, creative effort here, Linda. The tonal values, even in the shadows beneath the petals of the flower, are right on. I got so obsessed with this image. I was trying to see if you put toilet paper rolls in the negative space, in the leaves and whatnot. So I tried to find them there, and I don't see them. I hope I'm correct in that you didn't go that far. But great image, great attempt, perseverance and creativity ultimate.
Well, congratulations to everybody, the winners. Thank you, Marilyn.
You're welcome.
Everybody can
Marilyn.
mute
Great
themselves now
job.
if they want. I do apologize for the mix-up on the first competition. I'm going back, I look at the email and I read it backwards. My fault. I am sorry about that.
Well,
So,
Seeing I'm always interested in improving. And so if your club has a survey that people